Today we're looking at keyboards that are literally so good that companies are actually banning them.
And us, as average PC gamers, are gonna test 5 of them today and see if we can actually notice a difference. But first, a word from today's sponsor.
If you're in the market for a new PC, some peripherals, or even components to upgrade your current system, you need to check out today's video sponsor, Micro Center. If you happen to be a new customer, they have an exclusive deal for you. You're able to get $25 off any purchase of $100 or more. When you pair this with their top-notch pricing, you're able to get some pretty big savings. And the best part is, August is BYO month at Micro Center. If you're looking to build your own PC or even upgrade an existing one, no matter what, you only find the best deals at Micro Center. They have some crazy sales like this Intel Core i9-12900K for only $259. You're even able to bundle with the Z790 motherboard and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM for just $419. And if you happen to be in Florida, you're in luck. Micro Center Miami is officially opening August 23rd. They will be featuring 20% off Windows desktops and laptops on top of the already great prices. This sale is for a limited time though, so make sure you make your trip while it lasts. For more information about all of these amazing offerings, check out the links in the description down below. Big thanks to Micro Center for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it.
Now, before we dive into today's video, I do have to give a bit of a disclaimer here. These are magnetic switch keyboards, which recently on the channel we did a video going over some of the best keyboards that we think under $100 are a really good bang for buck, and you don't have to buy the name brand keyboards out there that honestly kind of suck. But when we made that video, a lot of people wanted us to take a look at these magnetic switch keyboards. And again, this video is more of a perspective of an average PC gamer, us being the average PC gamers, who don't really care too much about having the most perfect response time when gaming. We're not really great at competitive shooters to begin with, so we're really going to give the point of view again of the average PC gamer. Should you get one of these and will it actually make you better at games? What we're going to do is go ahead and compare all these keyboards to our baseline. This is an iQunix keyboard, the OG80. Is that the OG80? This is the OG80 from iQunix that I've been daily driving for a while with TTC gold pink box switches, which is a pretty standard linear switch that works really well, good response time, sounds really nice. But then we're going to compare them again to magnetic switch keyboards, which Dex is going to give you a basic explanation of, and then we'll talk about how these keyboards work in games. We'll do a typing test and things like that, and determine whether or not you should spend your hard-earned money on these because they are a bit expensive.
These keyboards come in around $150 to $200 from iQunix, so pretty high end. Obviously, there is even nicer keyboards out there. There's $1,000 keyboards if you really want to, but you start to get diminishing returns. And these use a standard mechanical switch. They're obviously not nearly this big, but this is a cool little demo. So you have your 2 contact points here, and then whenever you press the switch down, you're gonna get that tactile bump on some of them where an actual leaf is literally touching to make contact. And that's how it knows whenever you press a switch down. But what's different about these keyboards is there is nothing touching. So it's actually a Hall effect switch that uses a magnetic field to measure resistance. Therefore, you can get different actuation points. You can literally change the actuation on these keyboards to anything you want.
And with Hall effect magnetic switch keyboards comes really awesome software that allows you to have really cool features like snap tap, SoCD, rapid snappy, etc. There's a bunch of different names from a bunch of different companies that make these keyboards really good to get really fast response times in gaming, which again, this is a feature that's actually being banned by Valve right now, where you can't use snap tap or SoCD in these games. And honestly, probably other game developers are going to start banning this feature as well, because it does give you a pretty competitive edge and kind of erases the skill gap that you do build up by playing games over time, by making it just a built-in keybind that you can easily set up on your keyboard. But the main feature we will be focusing on with these Hall effect keyboards is Rapid Trigger, which allows you to quickly switch between key actuations without having to wait for the first key actuation to fully reset, which is what we'll be testing with these Hall effect keyboards, which we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and go into the baseline keyboard here, again, the iQunix keyboard, get a little bit of a typing test, show you guys what it sounds like, and also dive into some gaming with it. And then we'll start with Wooting, kind of the king right now that's really inspired all these other keyboard companies to make Hall effect keyboards really popular again.
So yeah, awesome keyboard. We actually have multiple of these OG80s. I use one at home and at the office, and obviously Matt uses one, but they're really nice switch options. I think they only come in linear, but they're very smooth. These are definitely a very soft linear. They almost have kind of a really mushy feel to them that's very lubed. I mean, there is no scratchiness on any of these keys. I will say spacebar, a little bit of stabilizer noise, but it's not terrible. Other than that, though, it's a wonderful keyboard.
Yeah, and the build quality of this keyboard is really awesome as well, with this like retro clear style plastic that a lot of people know and love. And overall, again, for the price, this is a good keyboard. We're not saying that this keyboard is obsolete because of all these keyboards. And you'll hear with the typing test, you might actually like the sound of this keyboard better than this. But in terms of gaming performance, in terms of raw numbers, these keyboards technically should be better for gaming. But will we be able to tell the difference? Let's go ahead and do a typing test on this keyboard, do some gaming tests on this keyboard, and then dive into our first Hall effect keyboard.
All right guys, so we're testing out some Overwatch. We're just gonna be using the firing range because we don't want variables to change. We're playing some Soldier 76. This is the iQunix mechanical switch keyboard, so we're not using any Hall effectness here or anything, but as far as the keyboard goes, like I said, I literally run this keyboard at home and at the office with different switches, and I definitely really like this keyboard a lot. I feel like the responsiveness is, as I would describe, instantaneous, and I just run 165 hertz, so I don't know, maybe on 240 or 360, you might start to notice a little bit of input latency, but I've definitely found, especially on my keyboard, that it's not as important as like having a really high, a really low latency mouse. I think that'd be a little more important for aim, but it feels pretty good.
All right, baseline keyboard, and again, like, this is one of those things where I've never gamed on a Hall effect keyboard, so I'll be interested to see if we actually feel a difference in the side to side, especially with that rapid trigger. That's the biggest thing I'm gonna be testing. But yeah, right now, the only variable I've always thought is probably mouse precision. I've never really thought of the keyboard as being the thing that holds me back, but hey, that's why we're doing today's video, and as an average gamer, I'd be very interested to see if we actually notice a difference. So let's stop playing with bots, and let's go ahead and unbox the first Hall effect keyboard. Now first up, we have the Wooting 60HE Plus gaming keyboard with the Gateron Lecker switches, which have an actuation point between 0.1 millimeters and 4.0 millimeters. It has 40 centinewtons of start force, rapid trigger support, DKS, SOC-D supported, pre-loop stabilizers, foam-filled case for acoustics, and full RGB with a steel plate and double-shot PVT keycaps, and this keyboard comes in at $174.99. One thing to mention too is we got the ISO layout, which for most people in the US would go ANSI. We ended up getting the ISO layout, and the unboxing experience is a little bit compromised because we had to put all the keycaps on before, well, unboxing it. So if you open this up and you're like, well, where's all the wrapping? That's why. But yeah, Wooting is a company that, funny enough, we worked with a long time ago before they really blown up in the space, and they really came to the scene with you said the Wooting 1 and their analog switches.
Yep, so that was a keyboard that I remember running that. I mean, this is back when I lived with my parents, and I really liked the keyboard. I replaced my main keyboard with it for quite some time, but kind of a similar design back then, I remember. It was just a nice all-black keyboard, really good-looking RGB, and for the time, very nice switches. That was probably the most expensive keyboard I had ever owned.
And we have to give credit to the unboxing experience to all these companies. We have this greetings from Wooting, little card here. Does this come off? Yeah, it's a postcard from Wooting. Thank you for your support and contribution. There you go, it's beautiful, love it. And also the strap. Everyone knows the strap. If you've seen this keyboard, we gotta get the strap on there. And in the bag, we also have, it looks like extra switches and the little tabs that allow you to put that on, I'm assuming. Yep, there's the...
oh, is it so you can tie it together?
So you can tie it together. Comes with extra screws as well. I'm assuming if you take the back off, then you need some extra screws. We got that. And of course, keycap holder and everything. And the cord is braided and looks absolutely sick, by the way. I love the color scheme.
Who thought of this? I mean, it looks cool, but like...
Yeah, what is the point of the strap? Does anyone really know? Is it just a look thing that they came up with?
Carry it around if you need to.
I mean, just carry it around.
Oh, because it's portable.
It's portable.
All right.
It's magnetic.
It literally has screws.
That's wild.
All right,
here's the assembly if you needed to know, but I think you can figure it out. Guys, would you have been really mad if we didn't put the strap on? Okay, so now we have the strap. We're taking control, baby. Take control. Should I?
Portable? Yeah. Gotta test it.
Yeah, I mean,
I like their black and yellow theme going on here.
I do like, you don't really see black and yellow very often, but we're gonna keep this wrapped up because again, we have one already ready to go. It is USB-C. We're gonna plug it up, see what that RGB looks like. But again, this is a keyboard that has come to the space and become really popular, and a lot of companies have been releasing them because again, a lot of gamers are trying to get these Hall effect keyboards. So let's go ahead and plug it up. The RGB's bright.
Oh,
that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's like vibrant.
And of course, with software, you can customize the RGB, you can customize the actuation point. There's a bunch of different things you can customize with their software, and it looks bright, it looks very gamer.
Yeah, so you can definitely, one of my first things, sounds really good by the way, but I do feel like I feel the plasticiness that we were kind of talking about off camera, but it's nice, it sounds really good. Very heavy actuation if you bottom it out though.
I am kind of a sucker for the strap. It kind of looks cool, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, in terms of the back, we have no fold-out feet. Everything is just one level, which
solid.
Is pretty standard. I think it's a pretty good height to where most people will be fine with it. I know some people complain about the plastic shell on this thing, but all in all, I think it's a pretty solid keyboard, but it is, again, we gotta talk about price here. We're in the $170 price point, which is definitely expensive for a keyboard. We got to see what the typing test sounds like because again, with Hall Effect, you want to make sure it's a decent typing keyboard as well because you want to use it for more than just gaming. And then also we'll get into gaming and see what that ends up being like. But this is the first one, the standard typing test and gaming time.
Alright guys, so before we test out the Wooting versus the iQunix and some of the other keyboards, which this is a different one than the one we have earlier, we're going to talk about some of the software capabilities that pretty much all of these keyboards have. So Jonah actually set all of this up and tested this keyboard at home the other night. And if you look closely, you can actually see certain actuation points for each key. And you can do this with every single key on this keyboard. Of course, brightness, colors, stuff like that. We can see stuff like actuation point.
We also have rapid trigger enabled. So this is not actually enabled out of the box. So when you see the testing later, rapid trigger is not actually enabled. For some reason, they don't have that like out of the box enabled. So if you go to advanced settings, advanced keys, then you have them over here on the advanced keys right here. So rappy, snappy, snappy, tappy, and then a couple other options as well in the advanced keys. But
so you guys can see here,
yeah.
I'm not letting go of A, and I can already move the other direction, but then with a traditional keyboard, it just stops because it basically can't, it can detect multiple inputs, because notice if I do W and D, we're going vertical, right? Or we're going diagonal. And you can do that on this keyboard as well. So it's mainly just this part.
Yeah, and so snappy tappy, this feature where you can like instantaneously strafe left and right, you can only assign it to 2 keys.
Yeah,
so we have A and D.
Doesn't work on WASD right now because
Yeah.
it's not assigned. Is this a major advantage for most people? Probably not. But obviously for very enthusiast or professional players, this could honestly be a really, really big selling point for them. And of course, just the longevity of the switches on the Hall effect versus mechanical is also a huge selling point. All right, well at this point, let's go ahead and test out the other keyboards, which are just gonna be out of box, and we're gonna do the Wooting also out of the box with no software, just to see what they're all like in terms of the feel, aesthetic, and the typing experience. The actuation is kind of like auto set to where it's almost instant. I mean, I do have to give it a little bit of weight, but I mean, so far, like, once again, like Matt was saying earlier, I think give me a different keyboard and a different mouse, I'm gonna look horrible. I'm not gonna be able to play the game well. But obviously, since it's just the keyboard right now, it still feels really comfortable. I was kind of worried that it would feel like kind of alien-like, but I could switch this keyboard right now, I think, and be fine. Does it feel quicker though? I'm not gonna cap. It feels like it could be slightly quicker. I don't know if it's just me or not though, but it does feel like it. I think it's the actuation that I'm feeling. I think because it's as soon as I'm pressing the key down, it feels like it's more responsive, but I would almost have to like software go in and like make it to where they both actuate at the same time for like a side-by-side comparison. But overall, it feels really good right now.
All right, first time. Okay, I can see how that's so weird, how like I'm barely pressing and it's actuating. I don't know if it's how this keyboard feels or what, but it kind of gives off the impression that it's quicker. So yeah, one thing to note, again, running this all stock, as Jackson mentioned, if he customized like individual like key switches to just to different actuation points, you might be able to tell the difference much better, but again, it doesn't feel wrong. Like, it doesn't feel like, whoa, this might take a while to get used to. It feels fine, and the switches in this keyboard actually feel pretty solid. But I don't know, like, just on initial test, it's not like wowing me, but I do like it. It feels satisfying to game on. And I kind of just really like the feel of this keyboard overall. So it's really, I was worried that the feel of the keyboard is gonna be very annoying for other things like typing, but overall, I like it. It's pretty good.
I do kind of wonder, you should, I don't know if alt tab will break, and you should like alt tab and just try to type something and see if it's weird. Like if you make a lot of errors.
You can kind of, there are some times where like you have a very small margin of error with typing. Like that's, like I'm just like, like that's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if you could it'd be cool if you could hotkey it when you're gaming, where you could switch to like a more like, probably the highest actuation point or whatever. I wonder if Wooting does something like that.
Can, right?
There's profiles.
So you do profile. So you would set profile to probably just like the highest or the deepest actuation basically for typing. And then when you're just gaming, go to the lowest or whatever one you think is more comfortable. So I think it's cool. I'd be interested to see what the other keyboards feel like. I like it, but I can't really like say that it's 100% better than the first keyboard. So now we finished testing this keyboard in gaming and typing. We definitely are going to rank this one higher than our iQunix baseline. We're going to be ranking all the keyboards. I don't know where the iQunix went. It's somewhere. Oh, it's over there. We're going to be ranking these based on our opinion on which keyboard we like the most in combination with typing and gaming. And this one right now, the Wooting, is number 1. Let's move on to the next one. Next up is the MelGeek Made68 Pro with TTC magneto switches with an actuation point being changeable between 0.1 millimeters and 4.0 millimeters, rapid trigger and DKS support, RGB backlight, ABS double shot keycaps, and hot swappable, coming in at a group buy price of $109, but will be MSRP'd for $139.
Not bad.
So yeah, this keyboard is a different one. Again, all these keyboards were sent by companies, by the way, full disclosure. None of them paid for this video. They sent them all over for us to test in this roundup video. And this one is a group buy that has not released yet, but it looks super sick. I remember seeing the pictures of this thing.
Yeah, this one is, oh wow.
Look at the front and everything.
What the heck? So this one's like, it looks like it's acrylic. All right, hold up. Let me get this peel off so I can get the full unboxing experience.
Yeah, this is an example of a smaller keyboard company taking the idea of Hall effect keyboards and starting group buys to potentially make really cool looking ones that are honestly even cheaper than something like the, well, Wooting keyboard.
All right, so I'm gonna say off the gate, flames.
Flames.
That's very user preference, but the keyboard itself is pretty cool. We got like a grid design in the back. Once again, mostly all plastic from what I can tell. Now all these keyboards do have weight so far. I say all of them. We've only done 2, but they do have some heft to them. This one, once again, no flip out feet. Play for fun, not to win. No, that's not. That's not.
We
the
want
design
to win,
of this keyboard.
baby.
It's to win. We had a really interesting kind of like maroon or red style keycap. It does change tones a lot throughout the keyboard.
And in terms of what comes in the box, you also get a USB-C braided cable. These are extra keycaps, which I think are textured. Let's just go and open them up. No, they are just, are they the same color? They're just additional keycaps. We got Command for Mac if you want to switch to Mac and stuff like that. And there is one little MelGeek B. So you got the B you can replace your escape key with, which is pretty cool. But we gotta plug this thing up and see, because based on the images I saw from this thing, the lighting should be pretty crazy.
Oh.
Okay, so it has like a light bar in the back.
Yeah, okay. Now the keyboard itself is just like a, Zach, do you happen to know if this is RGB or is it just white?
It says RGB backlighting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can change this one without software. So at this point, I'm curious to see what Jonah thinks in the typing test and kind of go from there, but I'm excited to actually test it in gaming.
Typing test and gaming time.
All right, so once again, very quick actuation. This one I do think is lighter. It actually feels a lot lighter. And the actuation is a little more mushy, which I think I like a little more than the Wooting. But very sadly, I think in terms of looks, I just don't know. I mean, we'll see what Matt says. I don't know if I can rank this one higher just because of that. But I think I like the gaming feel a little better, and it feels very, very quick, very responsive, pretty nice.
Yeah, I can definitely agree in terms of the looks. I'm not a huge fan of this Fire version. We did see that they have all the other elements for this Elements lineup of keyboards, and they look a lot better. I really like that this keyboard just is super smooth. It really does show that actuation really quickly. You can feel it much better than the Wooting keyboard. But I do like how the Wooting keyboard, I think, is a better typing keyboard, if that makes any sense, because just quickly going through this, I really do not like how that feels. I don't know, the looks of this one and the feel, I still think I prefer the Wooting keyboard. Now, placing the MelGeek below the iQunix keyboard, because honestly, we think that's where it ranks in 3rd place currently, we actually have a iQunix keyboard, which is funny because iQunix sent this over. This is their EZ63 keyboard, which comes with star trail switches with an actuation point being changeable between 0.1 millimeters and 4.0 millimeters, pretty standard. It does come with an 8,000 polling rate, rapid trigger support, gasket mounted switches, aluminum case and plate, and double shot PVT keycaps. And this one comes in very similar to the Wooting at $179. It's actually a little bit more expensive than the Wooting keyboard. One important thing to mention with this keyboard is it only supports rapid trigger out of the box according to their product page. I expect that to get changed in the near future with all these other keyboards having SOC-D and the other supported features that really makes these Hall effect keyboards awesome. But right now out of the box, it is limited in the software department, but again, that could change by the time this video is even released.
iQunix so far is definitely taking the dub. This is some really nice artwork and somewhat informative on the back too.
So let's take a look at this. And iQunix is a company we've worked with for a long time, and I'm very excited to see that they are getting into this space.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they didn't get left behind. Here's that. I think I'm assuming just a cable in there.
Before you use your EZ keyboard, please calibrate to fit your desk perfectly. Huh? What does that mean?
Thoughts on this, Zach?
Oh, so here it says wherever you place it on your desk, there's an L-shaped wrench that'll allow you to adjust the height.
Like the angle and stuff?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is actually wild. I never thought you'd be doing that, but I guess we're in this like territory of really like boutique keyboards. Maybe something we want to do. This is crazy looking.
I do have to say, in terms of like, without even, I haven't even done anything, the build quality on this one is like taking the cake for me, because I think aluminum.
That's just
like,
all.
how much of this is aluminum? Like all?
Case and then steel plate.
Pick the thing up, Matt.
Jesus.
That thing is kind of blowing me away in build quality.
This
right
is
now.
nutty. So like, speaking of, let's see.
Speaking of nuts.
Speaking of nuts, let's go ahead and open this up here and see. Is there supposed to be an Allen key in here somewhere, or do we use that?
Oh, we got it? Oh.
Yeah, so we got to see how this adjusts. So I think it's those points right there. I guess you have an uneven desk.
Yeah, I mean, once we move this thing somewhere else, it might not be level anymore. So I'm just gonna loosen one side and let's just see if it even is unlevel. Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna tighten it. I feel like this is good. We're about to move it to another desk.
That is a feature I've never seen before, but I think it's kind of cool. I don't know if again, average gamer here, I don't think I would care too much about it because I'm more worried my desk is messed up. But maybe I'm missing the point of the feature, you know. But it's pretty cool. Inside here, we also have the fanciest like keycap ploy I've ever seen.
Wow. Yeah, Jonah could have used this earlier.
That was really nice. That one's gonna go up on our wall over there. We're gonna keep that one. And the keyboard cleaner.
The brush. So, okay, so far, you know, we are saying more expensive than Wooting, but the unboxing experience and some of the accessories it comes with, we are saying are a little nicer, and then obviously aluminum. I mean, that's just more money, more problems right there.
It's more expensive by $5 to tell you that.
Yeah.
So I think you're getting a lot for the $5 you're spending. But again, it is an expensive keyboard. So where do we plug this? Oh, right here.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. That's kind of cool. Now, yeah, you probably heard me kind of like gasping a little when I was typing on it, Matt. This feels the most like a normal keyboard.
Is that RGB on?
Yeah. Is it that dim?
That's really dim. I wouldn't even know how to adjust it unless it's software.
Oh, wow, that might just be as bright as it is.
That's not great. It's probably because of the keycaps.
Try function shift.
Yeah, it's changing
changing modes. Man, yeah, that might just be really dim.
I think it is the keycaps, but honestly, with these kind of keyboards, I kind of don't really expect to have really bright backlighting in RGB because of these keycaps. But if you really care about RGB, that is a downside technically, as it is very dim. But honestly, I'd probably, with this keyboard, I would just set it to white and have like some backlight where I'm gaming at night where I can kind of just see it. But Jackson said to do a little bit of typing on it. It feels like the Wooting in the sense that it is a little bit heavier than the Melgeek, but it's not as heavy as the Wooting. It kind of feels like a normal keyboard. I'd be interested to see what it feels like when we're gaming. And man, this thing this is a weapon. If you got hit with this, it'd be really bad. So yeah, all in all, very impressive. Let's do a typing test and get to gaming.
So now that we have it over here, I did notice lighting a lot. You can definitely see it better now. And if you game at night, this thing will actually be pretty bright. This one, I said earlier, it types the most like a normal keyboard in my opinion. The actuation is further down. So look at how far I can press this before I move. It's about halfway. So much more like a traditional keyboard. Feels really nice. And it feels just as responsive as the other keyboards so far.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not as like sensitive as the other keyboards out of the box, but again, it has the same actuation range and can be customized with the software to actually will actuate the same way. So if you really liked how fast and responsive the other ones were, you definitely could do that. But I don't know, I actually like the sound of this one better than the standard iQunix keyboard. Something about it is like really nice and feels feels pretty good. I think it's just because it's a really sturdy keyboard overall, but I think for just a little bit more money, I think this one does rank higher than the Wooting keyboard, don't you think?
I told Zach, I whispered, this one's #1 in my eyes, but I want to see what you said.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this one is #1. I personally really like the feel of the Wooting, but the build quality of it definitely hurts it in terms of it not being as premium as this one. I like the feel of typing on the Wooting keyboard and gaming on it, but I think the overall keyboard, this one definitely is at #1. Put Wooting at 2, and then the rest is, well, where it is. All right, guys, now we have the iQunix keyboard in first place. Let's go and talk about the DrunkDeer keyboard. Guys, we're getting a little tipsy here. This keyboard is the A75 Pro White, which comes with, pardon my pronunciation, Raisha silent switches with an actuation point being changeable between 0.2 millimeters, which has less range than the other keyboards we have tested throughout this video. It does come with rapid trigger, DKS, and SOC-D supported. It does come with PBT double shot keycaps, tray mount with sound dampening foam. It comes in at a price point of $139, which again, a more budget-friendly option compared to Wooting and iQunix.
Very in the middle.
And DrunkDeer, what a name. I want to know the story behind this name.
Yeah, I'm curious to know that. Unleash your potential.
Jonah, you want to unleash your potential.
All right, so 75%. So this should be the largest one we've seen so far,
Yes.
right?
This is very basic. And what is on the keyboard? Is that speckle?
Oh,
okay.
It's marble design.
Whoa, this thing is thick.
Oh, dude, okay. Okay, so as far as the aesthetic department goes, this thing's looking pretty sick. We got some gold, some white, some speckle. That's a man. I can imagine a white setup. White braided USB Type-C. We get a basic keycap puller. Oh my God. And just in there, we go. And then we get 2 extra keycaps.
They're orange. I don't know where the orange really comes into place, but they feel interesting.
It feels like marshmallows.
It does feel like marshmallows.
It's like pillowy.
Feel it, Jonah. It's
Very
very
soft.
It's pillowy.
This would be one that Zach back in the day when he was looking for that silent keyboard.
It is quiet.
It's really
AF.
quiet.
Yeah.
If I try it out.
One thing I've noticed with all silent switches is they're very like mushy. Like,
yeah.
Silent switches are just mushy because they have to dampen them somehow, and yeah, it's just I don't know.
Man, this one now it is one thing to note. Plastic. I mean, it is plastic,
Like
although it
all
looks
the way
cool.
around. Yeah. Bottom, we do have flip out feet for those who care about that. I thought I
time.
would not see that in any of these keyboards, honestly. And is this like a? It's just
They just
plastic.
cover it.
Oh, that was
Pretty
satisfying.
bright. Very smooth. Pretty bright, very smooth.
Yeah, so not too bad looking. I like this marble design. I can see this in, again, an all-white setup that's very sophisticated. You know, maybe this is the kitchen counter setup on your white marble.
You
got your
don't
marble
even game on
keyboard. You just look at it, it's like, it's so pretty. But yeah, I would say, again, the thing that stands out is plastic. But again, we're talking $139 compared to the $170 price point we're used to seeing so far in this roundup. I guess we'll just go into a typing test, see what this sounds like, and then dive into gaming and see if we can feel the gaming responsiveness.
All right, so far, DrunkDeer, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the iQunix in terms of the out-of-box actuation. And I will say, as Zach was mentioning, with these being kind of like a silent switch, they're just really smooth. I mean, they're smooth throughout the whole way. They're not super heavy to actuate.
What I think is I need a drink. Just kidding. DrunkDeer, I like it. It feels pretty good. Again, it is quick. I would say probably a touch faster out of the box actuation versus the iQunix keyboard, just by a hair. But when it bottoms out, that like pillowy feeling is probably the best way I can describe it. Is actually not bad. Again, I like that there's variety with how these keyboards feel, because I was worried all these keyboards would feel the same, where you have like just really bad actuation and the feeling actually using them is not great, you're just using it for the responsiveness. But all of them have different characteristics that really make them stand out, and I do think it ranks pretty well. Where would we rank this one though?
What's in second right now? Oh, Wooting's in second. And then obviously our other iQunix is in third. This is definitely still not, it's better than the Flame one.
Yes, I'd almost put this one on third. Do you think it's better than the normal iQunix? Or do you think it's worse than normal iQunix?
I would say it's better than normal iQunix.
Okay, so we'll place this one third, which I think is very respectable for the $139 price point. And then we got one more keyboard, the Pwnage. We're about to pwn some noobs. All right, guys, let's look at the Zenblade, which Zach behind the camera is actually pretty excited about. This is the Zenblade 65 from Pwnage. This keyboard features Gatoron 2.0 Hall effect switches with an actuation point being changeable between 0.1 millimeters and 4.0 millimeters. It comes with a 30 grams for start force, and with SOCD and per key RGB being implemented within 1 month according to their Twitter account. And it comes with a full CNC aluminum case and tuned acoustics. The one thing I have to mention is this is the most expensive keyboard at $199.
Whoa, 199 bucks, and it definitely has a pretty cool box design. It's basic, but it's kind of like a leather texture. All right, this looks like a graphics card unboxing.
It does feel like we're unboxing like a 47 Ti or something.
I see why, man, I should have known Zach would want this. It's freaking heavy.
It's heavy AF.
All right, so
oh my god,
we got it looks like it's just all hunk of aluminum. Yeah, this thing is probably double the weight, if not triple, of all the other ones we've looked at.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
That's pretty wild. They sound nice. I wouldn't say that so far. I don't think the switches are definitely...
This feels a lot like the Wooting.
Yeah, they don't feel like they're majorly different, but obviously the weight of the keyboard so far is like the biggest difference. It's only one height, no adjustments on this aluminum design. Got a pretty recessed Type-C, and I'm assuming we got some type of backlighting as well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, it feels really good.
What else came in the box?
Oh, yes. So we get detachable Type-C, which, so literally every keyboard just came with that.
So it does come with keycap grips, which I've never seen these before. Is this popular? Is this the thing?
I've never seen it either.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
All right.
Is that it?
Keycap? Oh, a keycap puller.
Ah, there we go. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and plug up this keyboard, see what it looks like. White backlight, kind of what I expected. This is programmable eventually through their software. I'm assuming normal RGB is good, but they're gonna be adding per key RGB customization within a month, according to their Twitter account.
Looks pretty bright. It's definitely not like the brightest.
I just can't get it. Like, you're getting this because, oh my god, it is wild.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Well, we'll do a typing test, show you guys what I just can't stop messing with this keyboard. We'll show you guys the typing test, what it sounds like, and then game on it. I will say, first impressions, it does feel similar to the Wooting in terms of how heavy it is, but I'm excited to see, not in terms of how heavy the keyboard is. Don't take me wrong there. It's not as heavy physically. You're talking about the switch actuation. But we're gonna do some gaming on it. We'll do the typing test and see where this one ranks. But this one's definitely unique in the fact that they went crazy with the build quality.
All right, so on the heaviest keyboard of this roundup, the switches feel really good. They're kind of like out of the box. It's kind of in between the iQunix and like the OG80, where you press the key down, the switch down a little bit before it actuates, but it feels really good. It almost has the silentness to it, but not quite. You can hear it a little bit. It's not quite as mushy, but it still does have a very nice soft feeling to it when it bottoms out. So kind of like Zach was saying, possibly the stems aren't actually hitting it. It could just be the springs bottoming out, but definitely very nice feeling, very responsive.
So this thing will not accidentally slide around your desk, I'll tell you that. And I will say, it feels really good. Like, I like the way that feels. Really responsive. And I will say, again, out of the box, it feels much more like the Wooting than the other keyboards. It's pretty close in the responsiveness, but man, I like it. This feels really good. $200 though, more expensive than the Wooting, which again, build quality wise, just blows it out of the water, obviously. But some of the other ones are decent enough build quality, and I would say this is almost in the territory for most people as overkill build quality. So where do you say this one ranks?
I mean, it's definitely very close to Wooting.
Do we put it?
I don't know if I'd call it number one, personally.
Okay, I would probably put it at, so Wooting's number one right now?
No, iQunix is number one.
All right, so the iQunix one's number one, Wooting's number two.
DrunkDeer 3.
This is better than DrunkDeer.
Right. It almost feels like it's in between or at Wooting level.
I would say I'm gonna go 3, but if you really care about build quality and want to spend a little bit more money, this one would be better than Wooting for most people.
Right.
But for those who don't care about build quality and really just want the name, let's say name brand, the big brand right now, Wooting, you would be happy with that keyboard as well. So I think this is a comfortable 3/2.5. And I think we have our final rating of every keyboard we tested here. We tested a lot of keyboards. Let's put them up there and recap this entire video.
All right, the votes are in. So right now we got iQunix at number 1 with their Hall effect switch, and then sadly, the MelGeek is in last, but we are kind of in agreement that these are all wonderful keyboards, and honestly, just based on preference, they all would work really good depending on who you are.
And the prices do vary. Obviously with the MelGeek, if you do the group buy, it is the cheapest keyboard with Hall effect switches at $109. Definitely check those links down below for all these keyboards because they do have different pricing at the time of recording this video, and they'll most likely be affiliate links and they will help us out. But it was really cool to test Hall effect keyboards and see if it really made a major difference for us as average gamers. Honestly, probably not. It would be one of those things where yes, you get the software, you dive into things, you could really fine tune the keyboard experience to be perfect for you. But as an average PC gamer, especially one on a budget, which is a majority of our audience, I probably wouldn't be spending $170 to $200 on a keyboard. I would stick to some of the more budget-friendly keyboards that'll do just fine. But if you're an enthusiast looking to take your PC experience to the next level, you can't go wrong with any of these keyboards.
And if you're one of the people that are in the tighter budget, make sure you check out the recent video we did because most of those keyboards sounded as amazing as all of these. They're just normal mechanical keyboards instead of Hall effect switch. And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now, if you want to try any of these keyboards out here, you can actually come to our in-person shop, PC Bros.
PCBros.tech, you can come in person and buy awesome keyboards or gaming PCs or whatever you want. We got a lot of tech stuff in store and online. Use code ToastyBros on checkout to save 3% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Bye-bye.